off, getting told that they're trash. Like, you can't let stuff like that slow you down. But ultimately, like, you know, it just comes down to experience. Not even anything I could say or even your parents could ever tell you. It comes down to experience, you know, like having the opportunity to get smoked, and then you get smoked, and then you look at yourself and like, how do I deal with this, you know? Like every jam that we've gone to, like Massive Monkeys Day to freestyle session and everything in between, like, the point was never to like bring you guys to jams so that you would win them necessarily. Ever. That's not really how even like people outside of like breaking studios, like that's not how anybody really learns. It's like the opportunity to take it and you fuck up. Like there's so much learning in that, dude. And like swallowing your own pride and being like, oh, I let that guy cut me off. Or like I backed down from that moment. You know, like there's not a lot of people that I guess are mentored or told that like that is supposed to happen. That is actually supposed to happen to you. It's supposed to. Because you figure like even for kids who are really good and talented, maybe they were mentored to be champions and stuff, like dude, sooner or later you get smoked. Just like in like fighting or boxing, like sooner or later, dude, like you will get, if not knocked out, but beaten the fuck up, dude. And it's like, that's more than anything like where you figure out who you are and how much you love what you're doing. Or do you just love the results? Do you just love being a champion? Do you just love the attention? Do you just like being the prodigy? Do you like, you know, feeling like you're the youngest guy in the room who can like step up to the plate? Because those things leave you. Those things don't last. It's like falling in love with the challenge, and honestly in some ways, dude, the pain, like the frustration. That's ultimately what will keep you in a thing, and that's ultimately what gets you good at whatever that is. You know, again, it goes to music too. Like trust me, bro, like for all of these rappers that we hear, like mainstream and not, like dude, they probably have hundreds of tracks that are not released that are kind of garbage. Like, maybe more than hundreds, bro. Like, thousands of trash. So it's like, I don't know, dude. When I was in sales, I used to do printer ink and toner sales when I first moved here out of college and stuff. I remember going through sales training, and it was really interesting that the first thing that my sales mentor told me was like, I don't want you to think of it like you're gonna go out there and make, you know, 20 sales is your quota for the month. It's like, no, your quota is not how many wins. Your quota is actually going to be framed in how many L's you take. Rather than saying, I want you to take 20 wins, I want you to actually take 500 L's. And just watch how many wins you pick up on the way to getting 500 L's. And how quickly, because you're trying to go for 500 L's, how quickly you're going to move on. Because you're going to be like, for the example of sales, you know, it's like, you know, you give your pitch, you say where you're from, like, hey, I represent this, we're selling this, like, are you interested? That can we meet your needs? Do you need our services? And, you know, if the answer is no, or like, fuck off, or like, how'd you get our phone number? You're like, okay, good, that's an L. That's an L, next one. That's an L, next one. That's an L, next one. And then you are pleasantly surprised. 100 L's later, you get like a big dub sell or something, right? And then you take 30 more L's, and then you get a big win again. And it's like, maybe you won't even get 20 wins. Maybe you'll get 5, but you'll get 5 ones that feel really good. And all of the L's are actually going to feel intentional, and they'll feel smooth, like you're just moving through it. You know, and I think like creating and breaking and all this trial and error, like, dude, come on, man. Like, I just drilled, honestly, like 3 moves actually today. It's like, as you get older, bro, it's like you gotta understand, like, you're gonna go through those kind of L's in everything you do in breaking. Like, whether it's drilling a move, it's like, dude, I'm not gonna try to hit this good 10 times. I'm gonna like be okay with like doing 100 trash runs, but I have to at least try 100 in order to get 100 L's, right? So it's like I'm focusing more on the work than the results. Focus on the work, not the results. Same thing with relationships, bro. And it's like, it's hard because it hurts like emotionally, But like, you know, when it comes to relationships in like, you know, with girls and stuff like that, it's like, realistically, if you could travel into the future and take a step back, it's like you have the potential to meet an insane amount of girls that you might fall in love with, or you might not. They might be terrible to you, they might be great to you, like the hundreds, right? And it's like how fast you pick it up, get back on your feet, move on to the next one, just means that you are getting yourself ready for the next opportunity, rather than like holding yourself up on all your L's because you were so caught up in being like, this was my one win, this is the one win I wanted, blah, blah, blah. Like, by doing that, you almost like cut off all your possibilities for so many other wins. And maybe that's the wrong word, because like we're talking about relationships, wins is a weird word, but like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like things that are like things that worked out at least in some way for some period of time, whatever, you know. A lot of people get their egos or identities like too caught up in the results, and that's where people kind of get slowed down, versus being like, okay, wait, take a step back and be like, what's the work itself? It's like when you play certain video games, you know, like you're okay when Fortnite was fun, right? It's like, you know, you don't have to be winning every single game. You kind of enjoy playing Fortnite because it's like a fun game and it's just fun. You're like, oh, damn it, I died in the first ring or something, and then the other one you're like, oh, so close, and then you're like, okay, moving on. You know, it's like moving on, and you're just getting picked up. The state is called flow. It's a psychology thing, actually. You should look it up. But it's being in a state of flow and being like, understanding the larger picture is like a continuous like timeline that's unfolding forward in front of you, and not letting yourself get too caught up because of the focus on results. Learn, yeah, be like, oh shit, that didn't work out because I was a douchebag and I was really inconsiderate, or she was crazy, or whatever. Like, you know, learn, but then let it go. Like, you're not tripping too much, I'm sure, about like eating shit on a gyro like a year and a half ago. Like, I can't even remember, but I don't know, it's like something like that. Like, you're just like, how can I do a better gyro today, tomorrow, or whatever, you know? It's like, on, next. So that's what I mean, like, in art, but also in work, dude, in relationships, it's like, you gotta focus more on the work itself than the results. And you'll find a lot more peace there. You'll find a lot less stress. You'll find a lot less depression there. You'll find a lot less like identity crisis of being like, oh fuck, am I trash? Do I suck at this? Do I suck at everything? Oh, I don't have a place. It's like, you know, then, like, whoever said that you have to be like great at anything, actually, right? Like, if you enjoy Legos and your Lego creations are really ugly and creepy and freaky, but you like it, like, I don't know, you should do Legos. Like, that's what floats your boat. So, you know, finding that kind of place in almost everything you can do is going to serve you, bro. And like, as you get older, you know, I'm sure you see it. You're the youngest one. Like, your oldest brother's about to graduate high school, and you know, I saw your mom. He was talking about like, yeah, you should go to college and get work and all this stuff. Like, life is starting to unfold for you, and there's, you know, it's good to look back into the past and be like, that was really fun, and I loved those times of this and that. But like, look forward to the positive things that can open up with freedom going into adulthood, and like how exciting what kind of exciting work you can do that's going to challenge you and give you L's. Like, what is the most hype L that you can take? It's just like weird to think of, right? But it's like a flipped mindset of like, how can you get excited about your L's, you know? Because that's part of the process. You can get excited about your L's, bro. There's nothing stopping you. The dude who's super excited about his L's is so dangerous, bro. Like, that's the guy who's not honestly gonna stop getting better, and is gonna accidentally beat you. And like, let's say in like a video game or even in breaking, like that's the guy who's accidentally gonna beat you and be like, oh shit, I accidentally beat that guy. And I can tell you that that's the truth, because like, for breaking at least, like, I'm definitely that guy. Our crew is definitely that. Like, you've seen us in person like Jack, Alex, Andrew, Layton, like, we're goofy, we're stupid. We
that,
battled freaking
Style Elements.
battled Monster Energy, Style Element, like all these bigger jams where everybody's like a little kind of like, oh shit, like it's freestyle session or Style Elements, we gotta check out, and we're just like, oh god, how are we gonna catch the most amazing L today? How are we gonna send it? And then in the few instances, like, we do win, or, like, you know, we beat Renegades, it's almost like on accident. It's like, oh, shit. And it's like, oh. And it's good either way. And, we've lost, you know, we also lost to Renegades at the other Style Elements. It's like, oh, well, good game. Like, fuck. And it's not to normalize bad behavior or be pessimistic, be like, oh fuck, we're gonna lose. It's not like with a negative attitude, but it's like a positive attitude about a negative outcome. A positive attitude about a negative outcome.
That makes sense.
It's like, okay, for example, right? Like, a lot of people stress about relationships in high school, like, oh man, like, it doesn't matter. It's not like we're gonna get married. We're like, you know, it's just we're teenagers and it's never gonna like work out or last. That's probably true in some ways, you know, actually. Yeah, that's true. But it's kind of a sour way to look at it.
It is, because some people end up do.
For sure. Yeah, and that's true too. It's a sour way of looking. I mean, it's just like, it's a sour way of just of energy, right? As opposed to the flip side of that and being like, well, none of this really matters too much. So let me kind of like experiment, you know, like let me try to just talk to people and let myself enjoy other people's company and just see what happens. Be in a relationship for a week, be in a relationship for a year, whatever. Date a girl older than me, younger than me, from this side of the town, from the other side of town, like whatever, you know, and be like, well, yeah, because maybe it'll last, maybe it won't last, who knows. And like, you know what I mean? It's like having a positive attitude about like a potential negative outcome. That's a part of like just appreciating the work, appreciate the journey, appreciate the time. That thing we're told all, you know, everybody tells us this, teachers and counselors, whatever, like enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. You know, that's a part of it too. You know, you can't let yourself get too sour about or let down by like any one particular thing. I could definitely get sour about like not being able to do certain power moves, but it's like, well, I enjoy working on throwing myself around in the air, and I honestly have to remind myself to be like, yeah, it's kind of a unique experience. So there's not a lot of people, even experienced b-boys, who can do it. So like, I'm just trying, and I'm gonna enjoy trying. I'm gonna enjoy trying. There's not a lot of people, like, I mean, dude, you're about to get surgery. It's like, the ability to try and maybe fail is actually a privilege.
I mean, that's what's gonna happen, because there's always a chance my body could reject it. Yeah. And then we gotta find out another solution to make my mirror look better. Yeah. But it's like, you know, on to the next one then. Like, you just you keep it going, and just there's, I don't know. If you're getting too hung up on anything, I think it's also important to remember, like, dude, there's people that die young. Period. I mean, it's like not funny, but like, dude, there's people who just die young and they don't have the opportunity to experience hundreds of rappers,
positive or negatives. Like, you know, so enjoy the negatives. Screw it. Like, send it. Like, for lack of better words, like, I mean, I've been playing a lot of video games lately, and that's what I find myself saying is like, well, shit, this is risky. We're sending it. Send it. And like,
that's immediately what I thought of Mason.
Fuck, you know, like, whatever. And you live lightheartedly too. It's
I mean, zombies
it's
is very
healthy.
Quick paced. Always just send it. You'll make it through without.
And if you die, then you load it up again.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
didn't make it around 30. Oh, try again.
You know, unfortunately, there is a lot of truth in people that weigh themselves very negatively and like kind of walk around with a bad attitude or a mindset that's like, oh fuck, I suck at this, or this sucks and this sucks. And unfortunately there's a lot of truth actually to those things, but it's a matter of perspective, you know, because as much as that's truth, there's also the other side of the coin where it's like, wait a minute, you get to enjoy being a failure and not be homeless or dead or in constant pain. Like, because there's people like that too. Like, dude, like burn victims and shit. Oh, fuck, dude. Like, being grounded is hard, but those things help, you know? And so, like, moving forward, going into breaking, or just, like, life, dude, like, looking at jobs and work and stuff, you know, I get a sense, like, Aiden's a really negative kind of dude. And, like...
He is kind of co-depression.
It's... Yeah. And I think for you, as a younger sibling, too, it's going to be good for you to observe that. And I just want you to remember, like, for your... That doesn't have to become your reality either, you know? None of it does. You can pick how you want to get shit done, but it's going to take failure. You just can't be afraid to fail. You know, it's going to take getting smoked, getting, you know, it might take all the letdowns in the world that you can imagine. But, like, you be ready for them and realize they're not actually that bad. Getting your heart broken, losing your job, getting fired, pets dying, unfortunately, you know, but like, there's fucking stuff that happened. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna miss these very long motivational talks.
No, you're not. You're not gonna miss these.
Yes, sir.
It's not like I'm dying, I think, dude.